Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, however you want to live your life. It's Coach Baird, and I'm coming to you live from the Baird Cave. That's right, coming to you live from my basement. It's nice having the weather that is outside and not freezing doing this. So again, thank you. You are listening to the Baird Necessities. This is episode number 9. Can you believe it? 9 episodes in. Thank you for all those who've listened to my past episodes. If you haven't yet, you can catch up on your own leisure. You can find me on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. Please follow me on Twitter at the Baird NEC, or you can send me an email at thebairdnec@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. I am super excited about this next guest. When I was thinking about this podcast and the type of kids that I wanted to get on this podcast, I made a list, and he was in the top 5. And to be able to sit down with this kid and talk to this kid who's playing at an extreme high level that he is right now is amazing. The fact that he took time out of his own personal life to come sit and talk with me in his busy super schedule. I really want to appreciate him for doing this. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to this. I hope you guys enjoy this one. I know it's hard to say this, but this kid is a Wolverine. I've known this kid since he was a sophomore in high school. And watching him develop to be a dominant ace that he is today is amazing. At Portage Northern High School, he was a 4-year letter winner, 2-time district champion, Kalamazoo Gazette Player of the Year, Dream Team and All-State First Team for 2015 and 2016. And in his senior season, he won the Mr. Baseball and Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Michigan. Of course, I'm talking about none other than the University of Michigan's ace, the #1 pitcher, Tommy Henry. Welcome, Tommy. Thanks for joining me in the Baird Cave. How you doing today?
Not a problem. I'm excited to, get the chance to sit down and speak with you a little bit. Today's been great. It's 71 and sunny here in Ann Arbor. So campus is flooded with people finally getting the chance to get outside and soak in a little vitamin D.
It's definitely a different atmosphere when the ladies get to go out and just hang out and chill, right?
Yeah, campus was packed with, there was people setting up, hammocks. Yeah, just everyone's laying in the grass, reading. It's cool, actually. Ann Arbor's a different place when it's finally warm enough for people to enjoy what's outside.
Yeah. I can honestly say I've been to Ann Arbor a lot of times, and I do believe it is a very beautiful campus. I've had a nice little tour of everything, so I've been in the big house, and I've been in Chrysler Arena, so I have not been to a hockey game yet, but that could be coming up pretty soon, though.
Yost is pretty cool.
Right. I got to spend a week with Bill Blakely. He helped me prepare for this one. He says hi, by the way.
Oh, tell him I said hello. I was texting with him this morning. He's catching up.
So you were born Thomas Jack Henry. Tommy is the son of Tom and Mary Beth Henry. Now, did you go by Junior or the second, or does your dad have like a different middle name?
No, my dad has a different middle name, so I was never a junior or the second or any of that. Partly by my choice, partly by his. We have both same first and last, so I guess if I wanted to, I could have gone by, pretended I was a junior or whatnot, but I always just kind of wanted to pave my own way.
Right. Is that why you picked Tommy too? Just kind of separate yourself from that?
Yeah, and that's just what I've grown up being called. I think it's kind of a little goofy, a little silly, lighthearted, I feel like, when you say it. More than like a formal Tom or Thomas. Yeah, Tom sounds like an accountant. The nature that brings too.
Yeah, Tom sounds like an accountant. So yeah, Tommy sounds like, gonna chill, relax. Always think of Tommy Boy when I say Tommy. So the reason I ask, going for. Yeah, very very huge fan of Chris Farley. Again, when I think about Chris Farley, he used to do a skit on SNL where he would interview like people. Like one instance, he was interviewing Paul McCartney of the Beatles, and all he would do is sit there and go like, "Remember that one time when you were in the Beatles? That was cool." I feel like that's the way this is going to go today. Just like I'm kind of starstruck talking to you, just because I've known you for so long and you've done so many great things. So, but yeah.
Oh well, I appreciate that a lot. I was excited. I'm excited that we found a time to sit down for an hour or so and just get the chance to talk.
Now, have you done any other type of media stuff like this before?
Not really. I've been on, there's a guy around our team who has his own little podcast, but that was for the captains of the baseball team. And so it was just kind of a short introductory thing. And that's really only the kind of media that I've done.
Okay. So hopefully we'll get to have a little fun. It's good. Basically, it's a simple thing. I want to keep it simple. I want to get to know the other side of Tommy. Everybody knows the baseball side, the ace of Michigan. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the goofy side of Tommy. So let's sit back and have a little fun. Okay, now, do you have any other siblings?
I have two older sisters, and they both graduated from Michigan, but I definitely have the claim that I was the first Michigan fan of the family, so I will always have that to hold over their heads.
So you're the baby then?
Yes, I'm the baby. Madison is the middle sister, and she's 4 years older than I am, and Mackenzie is 5 years older.
Okay. They didn't want to go with another like M name for your name?
No, I've been teased about that a lot. I think my dad was just waiting for the chance to finally pass down his name, so he gave it to me.
Yeah, see, I'm Jack the third, so if we were to have a boy, it would going to be the fourth. But unfortunately, we had a girl. Well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, we had a girl, and we got to name her Jane. So maybe the fourth could be on the way eventually. But do people ever just call you Tom?
If people call me a nickname, they usually call me Turk, and it hasn't really. There's only a few guys here in college that call me Turk, but throughout high school, and I think it probably started in about 7th grade, everyone, from Portage that I grew up going to school with, they don't call me Tommy, they call me Turk. And I wish I had a cool story to it, but honestly, it basically started, it was one of those like icebreaker activities the first week of 6th or 7th grade. And the teacher asked us to go around the room and like give an animal that started with the same letter as our first name. So I felt a little frisky that day, and I was trying to mix it up from the usual, like Tommy the Tiger, and I went with Tommy the Turkey. And one of my buddies that was in the class just thought it was hilarious. Somehow it started off as full Tommy the Turkey, then it was Turkey Tom, and then just throughout the years it shortened to just Turk, and it stuck. Everyone still calls me that.
That's classic. I haven't heard that one yet. That's great. So there's a lot of things, a lot of worse things that people can be calling you. So I'm sure in East Lansing they have a few choice words for you.
I hope so.
Right. Especially, yeah. Nice win over them. Opening win with them. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's fun. Now, is your dad as tall as you are?
Honestly, he's probably still taller than I am. I mean, he back in his glory days, at least to his word, what he'd tell you, he was a true 6'5". And I've definitely never gotten to that. I think on a good day, I'm all of 6'3", but most days I'm probably 6'2.5". And so, as he's shrunk, as he's gotten old, I still haven't been able to catch him. But I wish I had that on him.
Right. Now, speaking of your dad, I heard you and your sisters got your dad a specialized license plate. What's the story behind that one?
Oh, I think that was my mom, actually.
Oh, okay.
Early in their marriage, yeah. Probably she was sick and tired of hearing, all of his stories about, he did this in high school or whatever. I mean, my dad's a great storyteller, but we always love teasing him about how many times he does tell stories. And so the license plate says has been, just because it's a play that he's always stuck in those glory days.
Yeah, when you get older, you get to do that. I understand. I seem like I'm telling the same story over and over again on this podcast. But, it's hard when you don't have very many glory days coming up. It's easy to live in the past. So, and I thought...
Definitely, and he earned it.
Oh, he earned it. And he graduated from Western, am I correct?
Yes, he played football there.
Now, he didn't play with Terry Crews, did he?
Not that... I don't think so.
Okay. I was trying to do the timeline.
Yeah. I feel like I would have heard that story if he did.
Several times, at least twice a day.
Yeah.
So I got to share this story with you real quick. One of the first times I ever met you, I got a chance to go with Bill, Drew, the Jones brothers from Lakeview. We got to go to the East-West All-Star game together over in Detroit. It was your junior year, I believe. We were going to see Max Schumann and Jared Burton, who was playing for Gull Lake, one of my kids. And on the way there, we were in Blakely's van, and you were sitting next to Drew, and you were eating a bag of, I believe, off-brand cheese puffs, and during which you would, after you were done eating them, you would consistently wipe your fingers on Drew. So, but yeah, it was funny seeing you guys interact, and just it's crazy to see how elite athletes can just goof around and be silly like that. I remember hanging out with you guys at the Valparaiso tournament for MAB and just seeing which I believe is the Golden State Warriors of summer baseball, just interact and have fun. Because legit, there was 14 kids that played Division I baseball from that team?
Yeah, I think we were 14 for 14.
Oh, wow.
Every single one of us.
That's awesome. But it was great to see you guys being idiot teenagers. Do you remember when you started playing baseball?
I think I was about 4 or 5. I started in T-ball and just have gone ever since. So I don't really know what age people start T-ball at, but I'm pretty sure I was 4 or 5. And I mean, before then, my dad and I were playing catch, hitting off a tee in the basement and doing all that stuff too.
That's good. Good memories to have.
Yeah. So it's really baseball's been here from day one for me.
At what point did you realize you were good enough to play at the level that you're playing at now?
Honestly, it had always been a dream of mine. I'd always grown up watching Michigan sports, loving baseball, and just wanting to find a way to combine the two in any way that I could. But it really didn't start to become a reality for me until I started to get looks from colleges. And while I'd always hoped it was a possibility before then, when I started my freshman year of high school to get looks and really see interest from schools, that's when it really became a reality for me and it kind of set in, which was a cool moment. But I also remember it being kind of scary in the same sense, just because as a young, 14 your freshman year? As a 14-year-old, you had the fear of the capability and the possibility of reaching your dreams, but also you don't want something like that to fall through. So now you also had that pressure. And I just remember being excited and also a little bit scared when it started to happen for me.
Now, how did you handle that pressure?
I talked with my dad a lot because he's been in plenty of athletic situations where he's dealt with pressure. But I also think, combined with that, it was important for me to just learn for myself and how to handle pressure myself. I mean, my dad and I grew up in playing basketball in the driveway, and he's always, trying to create those pressure situations, yelling in my ear or doing the countdown, just trying to mimic those hostile environments to feel pressure. But it becomes real when it's a situation like college recruiting or something like that. And I think, the guidance from my dad, but also just learning it for myself and how my body reacts under pressure and how to, handle that and grow from that and strengthen your mind to get through that.
Nice. Now, did you play any other sports in high school?
I played basketball and baseball.
Okay. You didn't get any recruiting letters for basketball at all?
No. I mean, I wish. I loved basketball, but basketball was definitely just more of a hobby for me. I loved playing on Friday nights, suiting up in the igloo. But, yeah, I just knew baseball was where the future was, and basketball was a hobby, and I soaked that in while I could.
Do you think it's important to play multi-sports as a high schooler?
Without a doubt. Not even necessarily for the physical aspect, which I do think is extremely important. I mean, the footwork you get from other sports, football, soccer, basketball, being able to control your body, not just being a good baseball athlete, but also just being an athlete in general. But more importantly, the mental break that it gives you and the ability to compete in a different manner. Baseball, you're 60 feet, 6 inches away from the guy that's competing with you, whereas basketball, you're leaning on him, you're sweating on him. So just those differences, the break it gives your mind, I think it's huge, and I think it's something that all high school athletes should do. Now,
was football in the cards for you, or are you just nah, I'm good?
I played it in 6th grade, and I hated every second of it, if I'm being honest. I love playing backyard football and whatnot, but I didn't like having to practice 6 times as much as you play. And yeah, I think I got concussed and knocked out on the field halfway through the season, and that was when I was like, wow, this sport I don't think is for me. So I stuck it through that last part of that season, but that was it.
Yeah, it definitely takes a different type of animal to play football. So I guess you made a good decision sticking with basketball and baseball. What position did you play in basketball?
I was kind of like a small forward, kind of two guard sort of deal, and I play power forward at times. But yeah, kind of in the 2-3-4 area.
Okay. Are you able to dunk?
Back in those days, I definitely could. I don't know about now.
Right. Put a little more muscle on you since you got college. So what was it like playing at Northern?
I loved every second of it. I mean, I made, the brothers we had on that team, especially just thinking back to, the runs we made my junior and senior year deep in the state tournament. Those guys, I mean, we still have a group message that's pretty active to this day. We're just constantly sharing things, even going back on the memories we had from, those runs. But yeah, I loved every second I played at Northern. I mean, yeah, we're all Huskies for life. We always say that.
Nice. I understand the brotherhood. My best friend is the kid I always played catch with during baseball, so we still keep in touch. And we've been out of high school for almost 20 years. So, yeah, the bonds that you make in baseball is a great thing, and just the fact that you guys are keeping those bonds right now is awesome. I can honestly say when we played each other, Gull Lake against Northern, I was really glad when you didn't pitch against us. And I honestly think you only pitched against us in the playoffs. I don't think we ever saw you during the regular season, which I'm okay with because you're dominant back then too. So.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, that was because you guys weren't in our conference, were you?
No, we weren't.
Or something, right?
Well,
right.
We are kind of now, but we're not on the same side. So it really doesn't matter if we really want to throw our 1 or 2, and you guys obviously wouldn't want to throw your 1 and 2 against us. I mean, we want to win. Both teams want to win. We want to, everybody wants to win, but we want to go with our 3 or 4, or save our 1
exactly.
Save our 1 and 2s for our conference games. Who would you say? I guess Portage Central would be your guys' biggest rival, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I was just gonna say back in those days that was like I used to kind of see that as like the Michigan State kind of deal, crosstown rivals. And the fan there would always be a little bit of a crowd there for those games, so those were just a little extra special.
Is it weird having a Portage Central as your teammate, Jeff Criswell, as one of your teammates at Michigan?
Yeah, we always. I mean, honestly, it's funny how often an argument comes up about Portage Central, Portage Northern, or like we always look back at the football scores, from the year before to see who won, and we razz each other about that. But Criswell's turned into one of my best buddies, and always will be, especially just because we spend so much time together, both being pitchers, and we've learned a lot from both each other. And so, yeah, it's fun. It's a fun dynamic to our relationship because we can always, razz each other and talk trash just because we'll always have that rivalry within us.
Now, other than Portage Central, was there another team that was kind of a rival for you guys?
Definitely like the Gull Lakes, the Battle Creek Lakeviews, and even teams like towards the lake, like Lakeshore, and St. Joe a little bit, but not so much. Mainly just the 3 that I named previous, just because those were always the good teams in the area. And so when you went to their fields, you knew you were always going to have a good competition there. So just because of that fact, it really turned into a rivalry, especially when you know a lot of the kids on the other team.
All right. Going back to your 2015 season, you guys had a deep run in the playoffs, losing to Heartland 2-1 in 10 innings. That was the state championship game, right?
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
That was a special experience. I think it was eye-opening in the sense that we definitely weren't the most talented team in the state. And I think everyone on that team would tell you that. But it's just the way we played together, and we just got hot at the right time. And so going through that journey with those guys, and then ultimately to that game coming down to, they walked off on us on a single. So literally it just came down to that last out. And it was just kind of symbolic about how far that team had come, what it took us to get there. And just, it almost, I guess I can't say it brings you together more because I haven't won a state championship, but I really think that that experience we shared on that field, because at that time it was the biggest stage we'd ever played on, really brought us all together. And so for those reasons, those teams will always, stick together, even whatever it is 5 years later.
Yeah, again, it's cool to have memories like that to look back on. I believe that was the first year that they had the finals at Michigan State. Am I correct?
I didn't know that, but probably. It was at Michigan State.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I know you guys had a deep run, and that was Max's senior year. Because I remember talking to him on my podcast about this a little bit, and he said he was the one that was trying to save the game. But,
Yeah, that's a tough spot for Max to come in. I mean, he had done well in that role all year, but, playing shortstop for 8 innings, lights out, and then being asked to come in and pitch. I mean, it's a common high school role, but it's not the easiest thing to do in the world. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good kid. It was nice having him on and just seeing his perspective of being a guy doing the grind in the major league level or minor league level. So hopefully pretty soon we'll be having a conversation with Tommy Henry about the same thing. So moving forward, let's talk about your senior year. You were named Mr. Baseball and Gatorade Player of the Year. What was it like winning those awards?
That was a special moment in my life because honestly, I wasn't really expecting either of them, and they kind of came as a surprise to me. But I mean, those are some of the biggest honors you can get, and I won't take that for granted because you're sitting in a room with a bunch of special people, and honestly, they're all probably equally deserving. But that night, I was just lucky enough to get my name called, and it was really cool. It just kind of brings to light the help I got along the way from my trainers like Dave Clark, or the advice I got from my dad and my mom, or the coaching I had, just that kind of stuff, just all the people that helped me get there. Yeah, it was a special moment for sure.
What was it like going to the awards banquet and the East-West All-Star game?
That was a special night because you got to meet the best players in Michigan and hang out at Comerica Park in the dugout and you played a little, we pitched, you got an at-bat, but you really just got to hang out, meet these guys. We're all going through the same thing. We were all going to play college baseball next year. So you're sharing that experience. You're also putting, an exclamation mark on the end of a high school career. And yeah, you're really just in company with great guys and great players. So it's a night I'm sure we'll all remember.
Did you dress adequate enough for the banquet?
Yeah. We were all wearing suits. That was back when I loved wearing my bow ties. So I can't remember what color bow tie I was wearing there, but I'm sure I tried to match it as well with my shirt as I possibly could. So yeah, all the guys in that room were definitely looking dapper.
I wish I would have gotten the memo. I had the opportunity to go last year because I was named 2018 Assistant Coach of the Year, and I should have listened to my wife. She was all dressed up. She said, "Are you sure you want to wear what you're wearing?" I said, "Nope. I think a Gull Lake polo and checkered shorts would be fine." I was severely underdressed, so again, I should have listened to my wife. Everybody else was wearing sport coats. I mean, even the umpires who showed up for the festivities were all dressed up nicer than me. So, but did you?
Well, congratulations on that honor. That's a huge honor.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with Coach Walters and Coach Blakely, and Coach Doug Hoover. He was the guy that inspired me. He won it a couple years ago for Gull Lake, and once I knew that existed, I wanted to do everything in my power to try to win that. So it was a really good accomplishment, and it was nice going out to the banquet. And I wish I didn't know that I was allowed to go to the game the next day and go on the field, and I accidentally made other plans and kind of forgot. So I got a call from the director, like, "Are you here at the ballpark?" I'm like, "I didn't know I was supposed to come." So, but yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting thing. So, did you start on the mound for that game?
I did, and I if I recall correctly, I think I got rocked. I think I gave up like 3 runs in the first inning or something like that. So it's kind of a funny thing to look back at now, but Drew was behind the dish for me, and that was, I think that was the last time I ever got to throw, together with him as the battery. I mean, at least as high school athletes. And, so that was pretty cool. And just under the lights at Comerica Park, we've got cool pictures of that moment. And that's something I'll cherish because I always loved Drew as a battery mate. I mean, he knew what to throw more than I ever did. And he knew my pitches better than I ever did. So, it doesn't get much better than that.
We did take the opportunity to talk about you a little bit on his podcast that I did with you, and he used to make fun of you when you first started to throw your curveball. Do you remember any of that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just honestly, I think he was nicer than what he should have been because it was a bad pitch, and I was trying my hardest. But, yeah, I mean, he would always tease me, but it honestly was probably worthy of much more than what he gave me, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, he's always been a special kid. I think him and the whole Blakely family kept me involved in baseball, and they kind of just being able to talk to them keeps everything going for me. Going back to the Comerica Park game, the East-West All-Star game, I do have pictures of you guys on my phone. I remember that. I was late getting there, which I was upset because of traffic. I was going to try to sneak in the dugout and see if I could sit there, but I don't think they would have let me. But it was fun seeing you guys and pretty much the rest of your summer baseball team there. Seemed like everybody on the team was MAB members as well. Yeah,
it was really, really cool. It also made it easy because there's a lot of familiar faces. And just to see the success that, all the MAB members have had in college since that day, and to be able to share that kind of kickstart / finale that we shared in Comerica Park at that All-Star game was really, really cool. Because it was kind of the last time we'd all be together in one room. And, yeah, that was a special team, and those will always be buddies for life.
Right. Do you still keep in contact with all of them?
Oh, yeah. We also have a group chat, too, and, we're chatting it up, giving congrats when we see guys doing well at their schools now, just all that kind of stuff.
What is it like to have Carl Kaufman as a teammate?
He's one of my best buddies, too. We lived together my freshman year, so we got to know each other very well, and we'll always have, funny memories together from living in a tiny box of a dorm with bunk beds. But Carl's a guy that he knows a lot about pitching, and he knows a lot about baseball. And so he's just a brilliant mind to be able to pick. And he's also a guy that you can lean on when, you're struggling or when things aren't feeling right, or, he's just kind of that support system. We lived together our freshman year, and we played 2 years of summer baseball together in college. And so we just know each other like the back of our hand, probably know each other too well. And so I'm thankful to have that brain and that support with me, because he can also make you laugh whenever he wants to. So he's a great guy to have around, a great teammate, and definitely a great friend.
That's good. Maybe you can put a good word in for me if maybe get him on the Baird Cave as well.
Yeah.
Now, after your senior year, I wanted to get your opinion on this. The MHSAA went to a pitch limitation, which is the max a pitcher can throw, which is 105 pitches in a day. After that, they must be replaced, and they are required 3 days rest. I know there's other limitations as well. What is your opinion on the pitch limitation rule?
I think it's a fantastic idea, just because it's all for the health and for the future of those kids. I think they did it because they plan on having a lot more, college talents come through the state of Michigan. And so, with the growing research and understanding of how much an arm can take and what's healthy, especially for young kids that age who are still learning proper mechanics and all that stuff, it's definitely, I think it's definitely a change for the good and is all about the health for those kids, for their futures.
Now, did that cause any issues with your arm going through high school like that?
And not having that pitch count?
Yeah.
No, thankfully, I've always been healthy. My arm's always felt good. And I think that's, a testament to the coaches I've had, Coach Blakely, the trainer I've worked with, Dave Clark, and just trying to nail down proper mechanics and trying to, be smart and have a routine with pre-care and whatnot. So thankfully I didn't have any, arm injuries or anything because of no pitch count.
All right. Getting back to the MAB, what was it like playing summer ball with, like I said, what I compared to the Golden State Warriors of summer baseball?
I love that comparison, the Golden State Warriors of baseball, because that team definitely had the confidence, but not only the camaraderie and the chemistry to come together and be confident and, kind of have that swagger as they walked on the field. They knew they were going to win, and not in an arrogant way, but just in a way that makes you play better, loose, energetic, that kind of way. But all of those guys, we all had so much fun in the dugouts, going to like Buffalo Wild Wings and stuff at tournaments and in hotels and, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm sure we all have memories of those teams that we'll all never forget. And when we see each other, we'll always be bringing those up.
Okay, real quick. You said Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, is there a certain sauce that you get when you go there?
Always boneless Parmesan garlic. Always.
No. You ever tried the hot stuff?
Yeah, I think they call it like the Atomic or something.
Yeah.
We dared a kid when we were like in 9U to try at Buffalo Wild Wings one time, and it nearly brought him to tears. So I've always just stayed away from them.
I always go with the honey barbecue and spicy garlic. So that's my two go-to there. I tried the hot barbecue, wasn't really a big fan. I don't like spicy. When we went to the College World Series last year, Buffalo Wild Wings has their own little setup, and they were giving away gift cards for those who wanted to do the hot wing challenge, and it did not look very comfortable, so I passed on that. But
you should have given it a shot.
Right. If I go again, I probably will, just to try it, to say I tried it. Do you think playing for an elite team like that helped your recruiting process?
No doubt. I mean, when a college scout came to one of our games, he wasn't just coming to see one of us. He came to see 14 players that were all capable of playing at any level. And so I think that just overall created a larger draw and gave us more exposure to college scouts, because when they came, it wasn't just a trip to go see one player or two players. They got to knock out 14 birds with one stone. So it definitely helped all of us in that regard.
Yeah, Max Schumann credits the fact that you were pitching to him getting an offer from Eastern, because everybody was out there looking for you, or looking at you and Carl and all them, and they stumbled upon him. So he's very thankful that he played with you. So
that's way too nice of him. Max is a special player.
And it's what's really been great about this whole experience doing this, getting able to talk to all these great college athletes, is the fact that how humble you guys are, and all the success that you guys have had, and how grounded you guys are. And it's great, because I'm hoping that all the kids that I work with who listen to this show realize that, it is good to be humble. You got to know where you're coming from, be a good teammate. And you guys are obviously great examples, because you guys are doing great things at the higher levels. So thanks again for even being part of the show. Again, I'm going to keep saying that as much as I can. Going back to your recruiting process, do you think being ranked in the top 5 by PBR helped you out as well?
Yeah, yes and no. Yes, in the fact that it got your name out there a little bit. And, I guess I should say yes, because, yes, it got your name out there. It got that initial attraction, and I think it helped me in that sense. But I don't think that, a player who isn't afforded that opportunity, or, can't make it to a PBR event or whatnot, should ever feel disadvantaged, because the game should always be about how you play, and there's a lot more to it than just being a showcase player. And you can impress scouts with how hard you run down the line, how passionate you are about the game, how committed to a routine you are, how you cheer your teammates on in the dugout, those little things that you don't get at a showcase. And so I think that, that may even play a bigger role. While you do need to get your name out there initially, I think it's just as important to do all of those little things, and that will help you in the recruiting process.
Is there a specific point when you got on everyone's radar?
I think the biggest help to those was when, Coach Blakely had the brilliant idea of and maneuver his way to get Mab and maybe even, I can't remember if we were the Maroons at that point, into the tournament in East Cobb, Georgia, because those are situations where when you're playing at that beautiful facility, Lake Point, you have a chance for there to be 20 scouts at a game. And so I think that gave us all 14 of us the chance to get on some radars because they saw the way we played the game. And also, that the 14 of us had a little bit of talent too.
Now, which point was Michigan in the picture? When did they start coming after you?
They came in later in the recruiting process in my sophomore year. And that's when, all along, I kind of knew that this was my dream school. I had grown up, envisioning myself here. And so, as soon as they jumped in, pretty soon after, I was ready to make that decision. But they were kind of the last ones to jump in.
Now, you say later in the recruiting process. When did you start?
It all kind of started, I think it picked up really my freshman year in general, fall, and then my freshman summer was definitely very important. And then, sophomore spring and sophomore summer also, gave exposure. And then I committed late in my sophomore summer.
Oh, wow. Now, were there any other schools interested in you?
Yes. It kind of came down. My final decision was between Duke and the University of Michigan. And really looking back on it, it wasn't much of a decision because I knew that, I always knew all along that this was the school for me and this is where I wanted to end up.
So at one point you were like, if Michigan comes calling, I'm going to sign no matter what?
Basically. There were times in the process where, I strayed away because I got infatuated with this school or this offer. But I think always in the back of my head, I just was kind of waiting for that call because I always wanted to have the chance to wear the Block M.
Were at any point were you worried that they weren't going to call?
No, I don't think so. Because again, that was part of the process of learning how to handle that pressure for myself. And that was one of the things that I kind of learned was that's really out of my control, whether they are interested in me or, make an offer or all of that stuff. None of that's really in my control at all. And so it does me no good to sit here and worry about it and just hope and worry more. And so I try to stay away from those feelings, and I think that benefited me because it allows you to stay centered and just focus on playing. Okay,
so you signed with Michigan. You start off your freshman year. What was it like adjusting to college?
It was tough. I vividly remember my freshman fall coming in, thinking I was ready, really excited. And in those fall inter-squad scrimmages we play against the guys, I just kept getting crushed. And that's when I realized, that college baseball is another level and it's a new game. And I had to learn how to not only handle that adversity along with, the thoughts creep in of, oh man, now I'm not going to play. Like there goes my chances of playing. But you just had to learn how to adjust and make those adjustments in order to be, successful at that next level.
Now, what is it like living in the dorms there?
Honestly, we got lucky. We were in West Quad, which is probably about an 8-minute walk from the baseball field and a 5-minute walk to your classes. And then it had the AC, the thermostat to control your heat, that kind of deal. But it was an adjustment. You got to cook. Well, you have the dorm food, but, you're microwaving ramen noodles and, eating out of a fridge when you get hungry late at night or, those adjustments along with the fact that you're sharing a room with a guy that you're just getting comfortable with that used to be about a little bit bigger than like your bedroom at home back in bunk beds in a twin bed. But Carl and I really bonded in that sense. And looking back on it, those were really, really fun times in the dorms. Just in the fact that you're never, you always have each other. You're kind of going through it together. So it's just kind of a hilarious, fun experience for the entire year.
Now, do you get to interact with like other Michigan teams?
Yes. I mean, especially your freshman year, because most athletes live in the same dorm as you. So there's always athletes roaming the halls. You get to meet them, along with the fact that we have the Ross Academic Center, which is basically like it's like a library basically for just athletes. And so you can get tutors in there, your academic advisors in there. So that's kind of where you go to study, to get tutored, to worry about classes, all that stuff. So there's always athletes in there. So you're constantly surrounded by other teams.
Now, do you ever run into or chat with Isaiah Livers and remind him how you used to dominate him?
Yeah, I do all the time. And we always joke about, high school basketball and high school baseball because we played against each other on both of those settings. And it's just awesome to see the success he's had so far in his college career and the experiences he's had because of it. Going to a national championship, the Sweet 16 this year, all of that stuff. And he's been a huge part of both of those teams. And so, being from Kalamazoo, we share that bond and we stick together for sure. So it's always fun to see him and run into him on campus.
That's cool. Now, have you met Jim Harbaugh?
I have not. He's been around the field a few times, and I've seen him, especially because their offices are right by the baseball field. So I've seen him a few times. I have not gotten a chance to meet him though.
Is that on your bucket list?
That would be a pretty cool experience. We roomed with some of the football guys. They were in our hallway our freshman year, and they have nothing but good things to say about him. And they love being a part of that program. So, and just the celebrity that he is, it'd be a pretty cool experience to get to meet him. How
weird would it be if he just came up to you one day, handed you a baseball, and asked for your autograph?
I'd probably turn it right back to him and ask for his, because I think that would be a little bit cooler to have.
I do have a signed Tommy Henry ball sitting on my mantle at home, along with everybody else from MAB. So Blakely was nice enough to get me a signed baseball, which was cool.
That's awesome.
So while at Michigan, you were named all freshman team, second team all Big Ten as a sophomore. Right now, you're off to a 6-2 start. Some of the things you did: you beat the number 2 team in the nation while limiting them to 2 runs on 6 hits, while striking out 10 Bruin batters, which was a big thing. Another victory that stands out in my mind, the W against the Citadel. I happened to catch the last inning of this dominant performance. You threw a complete game 1-hit shutout while facing the minimum, which means you faced the minimum amount of batters. I believe you gave up a hit, and on the next pitch, the guy was caught stealing, so that was kind of cool. The best part of that whole experience, hearing the other team's commentaries give a kind of a simple game recap. They said the story of this game, 2 words, Tommy Henry. How cool is that? Yeah, that was a fun. The Citadel was definitely a fun game. I mean, the credit goes to Coach Fetter there. He drew up a great game plan going into that game, and the defense played incredible behind me. I mean, it doesn't go down in the box score, but there's numerous amounts of diving catches or bang plays that the defense always came through on, and they just made it easy for me to get into a groove. And like you mentioned earlier, the one guy that got on, Joe Donovan threw him out right away. So that was a complete 9-guy game, and it was fun to see the defense, all mesh together that way, the 9 of us. Right. Looking at your record right now, you're 6-2. You have a 1.67 ERA. You've only allowed 11 walks, and you've struck out 65. What do you think has contributed to your success? Again, I think it's kind of what I just touched on. Coach Shutter has worked with us. He's our pitching coach, with the whole staff on skills that you wouldn't necessarily get anywhere else. We sit down. There's numerous times during practice where he's taken us to sit down in our classroom at the field, and we go through PowerPoints on how to read a hitter's load and what that would tell you about their weak spots through their swing, or swing-to-swing adjustments that hitters make, or just now pitching 101 that a lot of people wouldn't know. And it also is how he draws up his game plans. So he works really, really hard, studies a lot of film heading into weekend series, and draws up
a very specific game plan for each hitter and how we're going to attack them based off of our strengths, first and foremost, and then their weaknesses. And then the defense has been beyond consistent all year. I mean, Joe Donovan is like an absolute brick wall back there. You know, Jack Blomgren, who's really flourished this year after having to start as a freshman at shortstop last year. So just all of those things have really contributed to us having a good start this year, and I think that will continue.
Now, what do you do in your days off?
We don't really get too many days off. That's kind of the beauty of being a pitcher. Technically, today, Monday, is our day off, but I mean, all the pitchers are still at the field because pitchers can't really take a day off from throwing. So, and I mean, all the hitters are there as well too, but just being a pitcher and always having to keep your arm in shape, we're always working on that. And so there really isn't too much time, especially now with like finals kicking up, but you know, with the beautiful weather we had today, it's got me itching for a little bit of golf, and just kind of being out in the sun, hanging out there. So as soon as we get some free time, I'll probably be out on the links.
Now, what is your normal week like?
Well, like this week, for example, will be a pretty busy week, just in the sense we have 2 midweek games, Tuesday and Wednesday at home here against Indiana State. So I'll probably be in my classes. I will be in my classes from 8:30 to 11. And then, you know, we're getting to the field around noon to eat a team lunch, start our scouting to get ready for our 4:30 or 5 o'clock start. You know, in those games, we'll be out by 9-ish. And then most of us are headed right to the academic center to, you know, study, because now exams are picking up. And then it'll be kind of the same plan on Wednesday. Same deal. We'll get to the field probably noon for our 5 o'clock game. And then, you know, it's a lot of making up the class you missed, you know, rewatching lectures. The profs here are very good, and they record the lectures. So that makes it a little bit easier for us to stay on top of things. So a lot of us will head over to the academic center, you know, watch lectures, do homework, try and stay on top of things. And then on Thursday, we'll probably bus down to Ohio State early enough so that we can get a practice in that night. And then Friday we're playing. And so this is a typical week, but there's a lot of missed class time. So it's challenging in that sense. We've just learned to kind of get ahead on things, prepare for that, because you learn what it's like when you get behind. You don't want to end up behind.
So what is it like traveling?
Traveling, honestly, is my favorite. It's kind of like when school lets out here and you're just hanging out in the sun, and it's literally the only reason you're here is to play baseball. And so that's similar kind of to what the road is like. Yeah, there's late nights in the hotel, you know, doing homework assignments, writing papers and whatnot. But, you know, being in the hotel, you know, the scouting meetings we have, seeing cool, you know, universities, campuses, regions of the United States that you didn't think you'd be in, getting those experiences is the reason why I like it. And it's also just refreshing. It keeps Ann Arbor, you know, it keeps you thankful to be at home and what that provides. And yeah, so just kind of all of the above. It's a little demanding, just you're missing a lot of class, but it's a blast.
Now, do you guys normally get like charter flights, or do you have to fly commercial, or how does that work?
Well, really, it kind of depends. Like for the rest of this year, it'll be just chartered flights. Early in the year, we were on commercial. It's kind of, you know, we do a little bit of both, but they usually hook us up with great, you know, flight schedules and whatnot, so we're not spending too much time in the airport. And they try and get us back to Ann Arbor in reasonable times if we're coming back like on a Sunday night.
Now, you guys usually fly out of Detroit since you're so close to the airport, right?
Right. So yeah, that's not too bad.
Now, how about the food? What kind of food do they give you guys when you're on the road?
Well, they usually hook us up with per diem, which is kind of nice, because then you have the luxury to just, you know, go wherever you like with a few other teammates. There's times where we do have like team meals, and they cater meals for us in our meeting room at the hotel. But most of the time it's just we have a window where we can go with a few of our teammates to, you like go to whatever restaurant is either within walking distance, or we'll take the bus and we'll go to an area where there's few options for restaurants, and then we'll all branch off from there. So it gives us a chance to try those regional tastes, whichever region you are in the United States, and really take advantage of that.
Now, is there any specific restaurant that sticks out in your mind right now that you can think about?
I mean, when we go to the Detroit airport, and it's like even if we're hopping off a red eye, or we're at our gate at 6:30 in the morning, the first restaurant that all 36 of us rush to, we all know where, we all have it memorized. It's Chick-fil-A at the end of the terminal. It's a race to see them get there first in line, and usually when we head anywhere in the South, that's the first stop everyone makes, is at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, our Florida trip just happened. We just got back, and I'd say at least 75% of the meals that we had down there was Chick-fil-A. So it's definitely something to get into. Kalamazoo just got a new one, or Portage just got a new one not too long ago, but Battle Creek does not have anything like that. So being able to eat Chick-fil-A is definitely something good. How do you guys pass your time while you're on the road?
There's honestly not much time passing to do. Even if it's a later game, like let's say it's a 7 o'clock, Friday game, we'll have a team breakfast at like 9 a.m. So you'll get back to your room and you'll have a window from like 10 to noon. So a lot of guys head down to the hotel weight room and get a lift in. And then we'll have team lunch like at 12:30ish. And we'll get to our scouting meeting at probably 2:30, and then straight from there you're headed to the game, because we're getting there usually like 3 hours beforehand to go through our full pregame routine. So honestly, there's really not much time passing to do, and if you do have to pass time, you're either playing cards if you're lucky enough to not have any homework, or if you're not doing that, you're working on homework.
Right. Definitely trying to keep on top of the homework. It seems like it's a very, very common thing. So you guys got to play at Dodger Stadium this year. What was it like playing there?
That was really, really cool. We're lucky enough that they let us use their actual like home locker room and their home dugout. So that's just pretty cool. I know when we got there, we all just sat down and just kind of like the locker room went silent for a second, and we were all just kind of soaking it in and observing it before we had to get our minds right to go play. But that's a beautiful stadium. It's in a really cool setting, and we're just lucky enough that they give us the opportunity to be in their home locker room and kind of experience what it would be like to be a Dodger for a day. That's
cool. Now, was there any other cool places that you guys got to play at?
At UCLA is always a cool, it's just a historic field. I mean, it's named Jackie Robinson Stadium. He played there, so it has that historic, that cool feel to it. And then a place I never thought I'd be where we went this year was at Texas Tech in Lubbock, Texas. And there isn't too much to that city, but it's a cool atmosphere. They get a lot of fans. They're energetic fans, and so that was a fun atmosphere to play in as well.
Nice. So the Big Ten tournament is held in Omaha, where they have the World Series. What was it like playing there?
That was another, I forgot, I left that off the list. TD Ameritrade is beautiful, and it kind of gave you a little taste of what it would be like to be in Omaha and be in that College World Series. And just in general, Omaha is a beautiful town. It's extremely, like one of the things you notice about it is it's extremely clean. Everything feels very new, and that stadium just has that College World Series feel to it, even though, there wasn't too many fans there, just because it's kind of a big travel for everyone except for Nebraska. But yeah, I mean, that stadium is right up there with any other stadium we've played in.
Let's talk about your routine real quick. So what is it like to pitch or only play one game a week?
It was definitely something I had to adjust to. I'd compare it to being like a quarterback almost, because it's kind of similar in the sense that it stinks if you don't pitch well, because now you got to wait another 7 days to get a chance to redeem yourself. But it's cool in the sense that there's a huge focus not only on game day, but also in the 6 days prior in order to get your body recovered and back to being ready to pitch on that next start. And so all of us pitchers have a pretty strict routine that we try and follow, something that we've found that we know will have our bodies feeling fresh and ready to go each time we're ready to start. So, each day, all of us pitchers are kind of living and dying by that routine and buying into it. And I think that's what helps create consistency, and that consistency creates confidence. And then ultimately you see that success.
Now, do you have a hard time recovering?
No. And that's, again, credit to Coach Feder. He really, really worked hard with us in the fall in order to prepare and build our arms up to a state that, you're ready for really anything that's thrown at you. And we're all of our arms are in the best shapes they've ever been in. So you'd be surprised how quickly you bounce back even after, going deep into a game or throwing a lot of pitches.
Do you think you have to work harder now more than you did in high school?
Yes, definitely. I didn't touch a weight when I was in high school. And I mean, that was clear to anyone who knew me, as I was like 160 pounds. A strong gust of wind is blowing me over. But that was something that I really needed to improve on, and that, our strength coach, Coach Cole, has really worked hard on me with, is I needed to get a lot stronger, and I needed to continue to work hard, not only just on the baseball field, but also in the areas surrounding it in order to, help your performance on the baseball field.
Okay. What was it like playing in the Cape Cod League? For those of you who don't know, have you ever seen the movie Summer Catch starring Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jessica Biel? Cape Cod is an elite college summer baseball league. So what was it like playing in that league for 2 years?
It was a special experience. And I mean, you're surrounded by the best players in the country. And so it gives you a very good opportunity to pick the brains of those guys and kind of learn what makes each of them successful, and try and take bits and pieces of that and, help that to improve, or use that to improve your game. And so I also think it's a good opportunity to face adversity. I mean, because of the fact that you're pitching against, the best lineups in the country, you're not gonna pitch well every night, and they'll get to you if you make your mistakes. And so, being knocked down a bit and having to, again, learn and grow and mature in order to get yourself out of that, a little rut, whether it be mental, physical, or both, and learn how to grow from that, I think is also one of the most important, tools you get from that. But just, again, it's an experience. You're living with host families, but those guys, you're kind of going through it together. And so, again, I feel like I'm a broken record, but, the two teams that I've been on out there still have active group messages to this day. And, we're always congratulating each other, supporting each other, just because there's a certain amount of brotherhood you gain from the summers out there.
All right. Now, looking forward to this season, are there any specific goals moving forward?
We kind of touched on it earlier, but, we all see ourselves playing and winning that last game in Omaha in TD Ameritrade at the end of the year. We laid that out from day one for this team, and that's definitely within grasp, I think, more than, some of us realize in that room. So just maximizing and capitalizing on that, that's definitely our goal.
That's a great goal to have. I know Coach Blakely always told us he always wanted to win his last game of the season, and if you did that, that means that you won the state championship. I feel bad that we never had a chance to give him that state championship, but it was a good run with him. I don't want to look too far ahead, but I've heard your name being thrown around in this year's draft. Were you looked at being drafted out of high school?
A little bit. I talked with a few people, a few scouts about it, but I mean, ultimately, I knew I wanted to get my education. I knew I wanted to come here and wear the Block M, and I also knew that physically nor mentally was I ready for it. So just kind of the combination of those not even saying that it would have been a possibility, because it probably wouldn't have. I wouldn't have gotten my name called. But I always just knew that I needed the development that I would get at the college level.
Okay. Now, I've heard that you've been projected like early second day, which is probably the second to the fifth round. Now, is that something you're interested in, or do you think you might return for your senior season?
It's a dream that everyone's had. I would hope everyone that plays this game has had since the day they start. And so the chance to fulfill that would be something I would, cherish and be beyond excited for. So, I mean, yes, it's definitely something I'm interested in. And, hopefully things work out in that regard. But yeah, it's just a dream that I've had since, I picked up that plastic wiffle ball bat in the basement with my dad when I was probably 3.
Now you have an advisor already set up and everything moving forward, or how does that work? What I know you can't really sign an agent, but what you can have some type of advisor.
I think the way it works is technically I think you can have somebody to, advise you through the process, but there can be I don't think there can be any agreement or anything like that. And definitely no signing with somebody like that, because that would be illegal. So, and then I think once that day comes where you would turn professional is when you'd make it official with somebody, and then turn them from advisor to agent, or just go straight from nothing to agent.
Okay. Well, good luck with that. I hope we get to see your name on draft day. I'm excited to look forward to that.
Thank you.
Now it's time, what I call the fun segment of the show. This is a chance to get to know the other side of Tommy Henry. We've been building in the deep baseball aspect of Tommy. We're gonna flip the switch and go the other side. We're gonna get to know Tommy as a person. Is there any special talents that you have that most people don't know you possess?
I definitely can't sing, even though the people around me probably think that I think I can, by how much I do it. I can juggle a little bit, if that counts.
Yeah, that's Drew said that it was one of his talents too, that he can juggle.
We have too much in common.
Right. Yeah, it seems like, you guys are both great kids, and you guys have been around each other long enough, I see a lot of great qualities in both of you guys, so being able to juggle is very difficult, and being a college athlete and being a student athlete is enough juggling enough, so... But to be able to physically juggle is awesome. Okay, if they made a Tommy Henry biopic, who would you want playing you?
Oh my gosh! How about like a Zac Efron?
I could see that. I'm a huge Zac Efron fan too. Is it because you guys are both ripped?
I'm just trying to capitalize, on the good looks, maybe, boost the muscles up a little bit. Just trying to, boost it up a little bit, take advantage of something like that.
Nice. Now, if you had any superpowers, what would they be?
I think the ability to teleport. I've always hated road trips or traveling or like walking to class. Just hated that in-between period. So if I could just snap my fingers and be there.
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
That's mine. I got to say it. It's always, I want to fly just so I can dunk once. And I don't want to cheat dunk by using a trampoline and possibly maiming myself. But yeah, being able to fly and teleport would be good too. Yeah. After driving back from Florida, it definitely would be nice just to go from one place to another. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. So
yeah. Wouldn't it be nice?
Right. If you could meet any celebrity, who would it be and why?
Probably Drake. I mean, before every game, probably way too much I listen to his music. I've been to a few concerts. Drake or LeBron would be my 2 picks, just because LeBron, he's the GOAT, and Drake is my favorite musician of all time.
Blakely did mention that you have a huge obsession with Drake.
Yeah, honestly, it probably borders that line of obsession, I have to admit.
First celebrity crush?
Probably, I think back to watching iCarly when I was little, and maybe Miranda Cosgrove back when I would watch it Disney Channel and stuff.
Nice. I remember those days. I was significantly older, but, I still remember those days. Now, is there any guilty pleasure songs, songs that are on your playlist that you'd be embarrassed if people found out that you listen to?
I love a good Taylor Swift song. I've seen her in concert too. Not ashamed to admit that. Yeah, and I mean, Catch Me on Anything, Our Song, Teardrops on My Guitar, any of the mainstream tunes that she's got.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do miss about working at a country radio station is being able to go to concerts like that. And even though she's not really country anymore, if I had the opportunity to go see Taylor, I definitely would in a heartbeat.
She puts on an incredible show.
Oh, really? Yeah. Did she was by herself or did she open up for somebody?
No, she was by herself. It was at Ford Field, probably about 2 years ago.
Nice. Did you have nice seats? Were you up in the nosebleed?
No, I was with my family, so luckily we had some pretty good seats, pretty close. So it was a good view of the show, definitely.
Same with movies or TV shows. Is there anything that you binge watch that could cause some mockery?
Oh, let's see. I don't watch a lot of TV, if I'm being honest. If I'm watching TV, it's SportsCenter. But is it okay to say that, I like The Notebook?
No. Gosh, no. It's a great movie.
Like a movie that hits you in the heart, like Bridge to Terabithia or something like that from a few years back.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen that one. I've seen The Notebook yesterday, but I've seen it recently. But yeah, big fan of Ryan Gosling in that one, Rachel McAdams. But yeah.
Yeah.
I was just glad he didn't say iCarly again, so that might have been a little bit weird if you said that.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific pregame playlist that you listen to?
I think Drew was spot on when he said, Drew could probably answer that. It's always Drake in my headphones before the game. It always has been, probably since my freshman year in high school till now. I've listened to, maybe even before then, but Drake always gets my mind ready to go compete and get in the game.
Now, what's the number one song you play from him?
I came home. I'll always listen to this song called "Jaded." It's one of his newest ones. It's not like a hype rap song or anything, but I definitely recommend listening to it to anyone that's out there.
Right. Is there any weird pregame rituals or routines that you have?
No, thankfully. I'm thankful that I'm not superstitious because I think that would cause way too much stress in my life. Plus, I think I'm forgetful, so I'd forget to do one of my superstitions, and it would throw me off. So, thankfully, I always put my shoes on the same way, but that's not out of luck or anything. I think that's just habit.
I think everybody does. I do it the same way too. Left foot, right foot.
Yeah.
Any teammate that sticks out that has a weird ritual that kind of makes you go, "Why are you doing that?"
My roommate on the road, actually, he's a freshman this year. On our first road trip, we were down in Florida, and I noticed him over in the corner of the hotel room with his foot up on the air conditioner unit thing, and he was taping his ankle over, he already had his sock on, and he was taping just one strip of tape around his ankle. And I was like, "Willie, what are you doing?" And he was kind of ashamed, and he was just like, I don't know, man. It's just lucky, okay? It makes me pitch well. And so I just have left it at that because he's been pitching well. But yeah, he's always taping his ankle before we leave the hotel for our scouting meetings and before the game.
That's funny. Usually I ask Gatorade or Powerade, but everybody usually goes with Gatorade. So I'm going to say, what's your favorite Gatorade flavor?
I'm a big red guy. I always love. You got to water it down a little bit, though. That's the key to Gatorade.
Yeah, it's too sugary.
Drink it straight up. You got to water it down a little bit.
Yeah, we had one of our summer baseball coaches used to tell us that, make sure that you cut it with some water so it's not as sugary and it helps you out a little bit more.
Right.
Are you a seeds guy or do you prefer gum?
When it's game day, I love seeds. Although we have a turf field, so I don't really eat many seeds nowadays. But whenever we're at a dirt field, I'll always have seeds in my mouth, no doubt.
Is there a specific kind of flavor that you go with?
Ranch. Biggs Ranch.
Nice.
A good sized seed with a good flavor. It's the best.
I'm just glad you didn't say dill pickle. I had the opportunity of actually trying dill pickle this past week, and it was as awful as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Are you surprised at the amount of different flavors that are out there now?
Yes, because somebody walked into the locker room the other day with like a Taco Bell Supreme flavor or something like that, which was, honestly, I got to give it to him. It was really good, but who would have thought that Taco Bell would be making sunflower seeds?
Let's hope it doesn't have the same effect as Taco Bell usually does on someone's stomach. Tall socks or ankle socks?
I like to go with the calf highs right in the middle.
Right, okay. Now, do you wear long pants or do you wear your socks up, or your pants up with the socks showing?
We do it as a team here. So there, with one specific uniform combo, we'll wear our stirrups and our pants up. But other than that, I like to go with my pants down for sure.
Okay, and I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Nike or Adidas?
I got to go with Nike.
Yeah.
I think the overall selection is just a little bit better.
Now, how much Nike swag do you guys have right now?
They give us a lot. I mean, honestly, it doesn't feel like a lot because at the beginning of the year we don't get anything and we have to earn it. But it gradually just trickles in and trickles in and trickles in. And then, at this point, you look at your closet and you're like, wow, I have so much gear. So we're lucky, that we get all that Michigan gear.
Nice. PS4 or Xbox?
PS4 for sure. I'm a PS4 guy, no doubt.
What games do you play on that?
I play a lot of MLB, Madden, and on my older game systems, I play NCAA football, the last one that was ever created.
With Denard Shoelace Robinson on it.
That's my go-to.
That I love that.
Exactly.
I kept my PS2 just for that specific reason.
Yep, the necessity.
Favorite food?
A good old steak. I mean, that's my go-to. If we're headed out to eat, I always love a steak.
Now, do you just eat it straight up, or do you have to have like A1 sauce?
No, I eat it straight up. My mom, she is a very good cook, and so when we're making them on the grill, they usually come out to perfection. So, they don't need anything. That's a little quick shout out to my mom. She deserves that.
Nice. Okay, if you had a chance to change your name, what would your new name be and why?
Wow. Maybe I'd officially make it Turk. Just for the same reasons I kind of like Tommy, just because it's lighthearted, a little goofy, not too formal, and Turk would be unusual. So I think I'd go with that. Make it, official.
Nice. Now, if money wasn't an issue, where would you go eat?
Ruth Chris, it has fantastic steaks. It would definitely be, one of the upper end steakhouses, just so I could get a good filet mignon, because that's my favorite.
Same thing. Where would you travel?
I've never been to Hawaii, and I've always seen pictures of it, and I think it looks super interesting. Just, you get to hike, surf, chill on the beach, that dynamic, and I've never been there. So that would be the first place I go. Nice.
I think I would go there too. I kind of want to see the Pearl Harbor Memorial there.
Yeah, that would be special.
All right. Would you rather be an elite player or an underdog player?
I think it's a good question. I think I'd choose elite player, just because I think that you can always have the underdog mentality and play with that chip on your shoulder. You still, be as talented as an elite player, and I think that would give you the overall package.
All right. Let's say you're by yourself. What is your go-to meal to cook by yourself?
I make about the only thing I can make is a good chicken breast with a side of pasta, with some rigatoni noodles, a little butter on them. That's my favorite meal that I can make.
Nice. I always pick cereal because you can't mess up cereal.
No, unless you put too much milk in.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, too much milk. Then you try to add more cereal, and then you just mess up the ratio, and by then you have too much cereal and not enough milk. But yeah, now I'm going to be thinking every time I make cereal. Great, thanks, Tommy. Okay, first car.
I'd probably just stick with the car I have now. I just drive a Ford Edge, But I mean, if we're talking like money isn't an issue or anything, are we going down that road?
We can, yeah. I never thought about thinking about that. What would be your first car?
If money isn't an issue, I don't know. I've always thought like Ferraris are pretty cool, and it'd be something, and I'd just get it like all black.
Get some 22s.
Yeah.
All right.
Big speakers.
Nice. Get a little PlayStation 4 in the back. I don't know if you remember that show, Pimp My Ride, back in the day when they put crazy stuff like that in cars.
Oh, yeah.
All right, finally, we're going to wrap this up. This part is my favorite part of the show. I've been pretty successful the past couple of times doing it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to be giving you clues about famous people named Tommy or someone who has the last name Henry. We're going to find out how well you know Tommy Henry. The first time I did this, Drew did a good job. I guess Drew was a popular name. Tommy's actually pretty popular too, so I'm hoping that I picked the right Tommies for you to guess.
Oh gosh, okay.
It's like I said, I'm hoping that I picked a good selection. Trent last week was 3 for 5, so that was by far the best. So I have faith in this one. This one's gonna be good. Okay, number 1, name the Tommy. This Tommy has been in several hit movies, including Men in Black, Batman Forever, and Cobb. Name that Tommy.
Oh my gosh. What's his name? I gotta guess. No, I don't even, it's not Tom Hanks. I don't know.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay, I should have known that one.
Maybe I tried to pick he was in the baseball movie Cobb, so I tried to pick a baseball movie.
Right, Cobb.
I guess Batman Forever, probably nobody else saw. But Men in Black was a big one, though. Question number 2. This Henry was a steel-driving man. Name the Henry.
Oh, my gosh. John Henry?
There we go. Yep, John Henry. According to legend, John Henry... Yep, you're 1 for 2. According to the legend, John Henry possesses a steel driver, was measured in a race against a steam-powered rock drilling machine, a race that he won only to die in victory with a hammer in his hand as his heart gave out in stress. The story of John Henry was told in a classic folk song. Exists in many versions, and it's been subjected to numerous stories, plays, books, and novels. So just a little history.
We talked about that in a class I was in, actually. I think that's the only reason I knew who he was, a class I was in last semester. So thankful that knowledge I got to put to use.
Right. You never know what kind of knowledge you're going to get from college. So it's a good thing you paid attention. I'm kidding. Number 3. This Tommy was a member of the band Motley Crue. Name this Tommy.
Oh, gosh. I have no clue. I don't even have a good guess for you, I don't think.
Tommy Lee. Yeah. I didn't think Motley Crue.
Tommy Jones and a Tommy Lee.
Yeah. I didn't realize that until you just said that. Yeah. Yeah, Tommy Lee. I figured you wouldn't be a Motley Crue fan, so you never know what people like these days. Number 4. This Tommy recently appeared on The Masked Singer. He used to be in a comedy group with Cheech. Name this Tommy.
Oh, man. I'm striking out right now. I have not seen this movie. Or is this? Oh, no, it's the show.
He was also in that 70s show,
where
too.
they dress in costumes?
Yeah. He was also in the 70s show.
I have no idea.
Tommy Chong. I don't know Cheech and Chong, I don't remember if you remember them or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Finally, number 5. This Tommy is a famous clothing designer. Name the Tommy.
Tom Ford?
Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh, my gosh.
Clothing designer.
I overthought that one.
I thought that was going to be a softball, too.
That should have been a softball. I choked on that one.
It's not.
That was on me.
You have a lot more important things to worry about than pop culture. Leave that stuff up to nerds like myself who have way too much information in their head. Useless information, by the way. So, again, it didn't turn out bad. Like I said, some of the things were, not in your wheelhouse. Like I said, you're not probably a Motley Crue fan. So, again, and it's probably all older than you are anyways. So, pretty much that's it. Before we go, is there anything you want to talk about or give any shout-outs to anybody?
No, I don't think so. I'd give a shout-out to Drew and Max because their names have been brought up plenty of times tonight. And just, I mean, those are two guys I'll always look up to, and I'm thankful for their support, for forever. I talk to them on a daily basis, and yeah, those guys are brothers for life. And yeah, I'd just like to say thank you very much for reaching out and having me on this podcast. It means a lot, and I had a blast, so thank you very much.
No, thank you for coming on the show. When I thought about doing this show, I created a list of people that would be, I think, a great guest to the show. And luckily I had contacts with Bill Blakely, who was able to give me your number and give me the opportunity to talk with you and get a chance to sit down with you. And just to know that there's people out there who are willing to help and willing to sit down to do this has been amazing. So again, awesome. Thanks for being part of my show. It has been a blast, and I want to say good luck to the rest of your season. This may be the only time I say this, but go Blue.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Again, good luck on your season. When do you pitch again?
I'll be pitching this Friday at Ohio State.
I'm sorry that you have to go to Ohio State.
Yeah, I know. About as bad as it gets, right?
Right. All right, well, good luck, buddy, and thanks again for sitting down with me.
Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.
Yep, have a good one.
Bye.
All right, there you go. Number 9 is in the books. Wow, I had so much fun talking with him. What a great guest. It's good to see that the youth of America and kids like this are on the same page. He's one of a kind, and it seems like the guys I talk to more and more kind of are like him or in the same boat as him, and just they're sending out a great message for all the other high school kids out there. They're paving the way for other kids to do what he is doing. Again, thanks again, Tommy Henry, for joining me in the Baird Cave. It was awesome having him be part of the show. Can you think of someone else that might be a good fit? Let me know. Please subscribe, follow, share, like all those fun things. Please, 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 tell your friends. When you subscribe, you can get alerts when my next podcast come out, so I don't have to shamelessly plug what's going on. So again, please subscribe, follow, like, share. Again, please do all those things for me. You can check out my previous episodes too. You can find the Baird Necessities on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. Again, please, please, please follow me on Twitter at the Baird NEC. And please send me some email. Drop me some email. Be the first one to let me know. Okay, be the second person to let me know what's going on. Is there something that I am missing? Let me know. Drop me an email. Give me ideas. Give me thoughts. Give me some questions that you want to hear from these great athletes. Just let me know. It's the BairdNEC@gmail.com. Tell me why you listen to this show. What is your favorite part? Is there something I can improve upon? Any criticism is good criticism. And if not, I can always delete it and be like, I don't remember reading that. Just kidding. Please join me next week. Same Baird time, same Baird channel. It's Coach Baird, and you've been listening to the Baird Necessities. Good night.